Welcome to Spiritual Success, the podcast. I'm your host, Cynthia Stant. As a dedicated student of metaphysics, I have skillfully honed my intuition, mastered the art of meditation, and cultivated a disciplined spiritual practice that has led me to become a multi-seven-figure top sales producer. Today, I work with thousands of business professionals, entrepreneurs, and their teams to up-level their sales game and create magic in their business and life. On this show, you will see that all success truly happens when you authentically align with your intuition. So come, be vulnerable, be open-minded, and allow success to pour through you here on Spiritual Success. Hello, successful soul. Okay, I'm going to be honest. If I were me a few years ago and I found this podcast and I saw all the episodes listed and I started scrolling through, looking at all the different topics, this is definitely one I would have skipped. But you're not doing that because you're listening to this right now. Well, you're listening to this right now. Perfect. This is actually one of the most amazing things that I've done for my self-growth, for manifesting, for understanding connection of my divinity to my inner feminine beast. Journaling. When I say the word journaling, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Boom. What is it? Is it daunting? Is it boring? Is it frustrating? Is it difficult? Is it hard? Is it, dear diary, today I woke up. I brushed my teeth. That's completely different than what I'm talking about here. So as I remind you, and even in our previous most recent episodes, we talked a lot about allowing ourselves to lose control, to not be in control all the time, to allow ourselves to be supported, to allow ourselves to not have to provide and do for everyone else, but to receive for ourselves. And journaling is one of the best ways to become an amazing receiver and to prove to your ego that you can take things from the non-physical and put them into the physical immediately. So if you are somebody who has not disciplined your mind, you realize you're not super organized, because it's through organization that you create clarity, and it's through clarity that you create speed. The universe loves to go fast. As soon as you ask, you receive, but are you making ways? Are you making the paths clear for things to come into fruition, from things to move energetically into the physical? Is there a clear path? Most likely not. So let's go back to the different realms of the universe. There's the spiritual, the mental, and then the physical. What does the mental realm look like? Have you thought about that? What does the mental realm look like in your mind? Well, you know what? Most likely, if you go and you look at your closet, it probably looks the same. Are you laughing? Because trust me, I remember what my closet used to look like versus what it looks now. Here's another thing. You want to know what the inside of your brain looks like if it was to be painted into like a picture? Go look at the trunk of your car. Go look at the inside of your car. Interesting, right? Your car is your vehicle to go from point A to point B. Well, the funny part is your body is your vehicle to go to point A to point B. What does the insides look like? Is it messy? Is it sloppy? And if so, what kind of results are you getting? Are you getting quick results? Are you getting hit with inspiration and immediately implementing and pulling it into the physical? Or are you hoping and you're trying and you're thinking to figure out? No wonder you have to try to figure out, because it's not clear, because your brain is sloppy. It's messy. The spiritual cannot be clearly seen, experienced, or heard. And if you can dream it, you can do it, says Disney. And if you can imagine it, it is real, says Picasso. If you can see it clearly in your mind, you can do it. What does Bob Proctor say? He says, if you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. True. But if you can't grasp onto the vision clearly because there's just so much nonsense in your mind. Yes, I said nonsense because a lot of times what's in our mind is problems into problems that aren't even problems. They're usually stories that we tell ourselves that aren't true. It's usually like to-do lists that are just piled over and feeling overwhelmed. It's, having to get the kid's birthday party ready and having to have this VIP call and then be on that podcast episode and then having to have this team meeting and then having to be with your, next real estate deal. Then all these things, okay? I know. But it's through organization, it's through clarity, and it's through really understanding that you have to make room, that you're going to be able to manifest quicker. So let's talk about something. The Secret. I know you know this book, right? You know the movie. It's most likely the first book you read about metaphysics, about law of attraction. It was mine too. And in that book, they say, the formula for manifesting through the law of attraction is ask, believe, receive. I want to switch this. I want to change this up a little bit. I don't believe in believe. Believe is just a thought that you think over and over again. So if you're thinking a thought that's not feeding your soul or feeding your beast or really in alignment with your goals and you think it over and over again, then you are believing a thought that's not even true. So what I want you to do is really know, instead of thinking, know that the thing that you're thinking is your truth. So not asking and believing, asking and knowing, and not just skipping into receiving, but making room to receive. Aligned thoughts plus aligned feelings plus aligned actions will get you aligned results. We have to take the actions. We have to create space for the things that we want in the non-physical to come here into the physical. So yes, that means for the ladies who are single and you want a man in your life, you got to make room for him. Where's he going to put his stuff when he comes and stays with you? Empty your drawers out now and create a space for him. This works. As within, so without. If you are wanting to align internally, you can do things on the outside to shift that and bring it into your inside alignment to manifest. So anyway, journaling is how you allow yourself to have permission to play with curiosity. It's a way to get out all the things that are overwhelming and put it onto paper. And here's the thing that I notice all the time, especially working with high executive women, 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs. It's not about being perfect when you brain dump. Literally, I'm calling it dump, okay? Brain dump. It's allowing everything that's in your mind to come forward onto paper. Release it out of your mind so that you can create space to receive inspiration. And here's the thing, when something comes into your mind and inspires you, not feed it with doubt. Oh, that's a great idea. I'm so excited about that. Oh wait, I can't do that. I'm not ready for that. I'm not pretty enough. I can't afford that. I can't. Blah, blah. No, not feeding it with doubt. If something comes to your mind, get excited because it means it's already in the process of manifesting. You did not create it. You did not destroy it. You aligned with it. Therefore, if it's in your mind, it means that it is something that you can actually bring here in the physical. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to experience it in your mind. So in order to bring it into the physical, let's do it by showing our ego that we can take thought and put it on paper in the physical right away. When you write, something that wasn't there a second ago, all of a sudden is there. It's in the physical. It's a beautiful thing. And it not only shows your ego what's possible, it makes room for you to be able to breathe, to be clear, and to actually hear the guidance that you're given. You are always supported. Whenever you ask, you receive. But are you being quiet enough to hear the answers? It's really, really hard when you have so much shit going on in your brain. Like, blah, 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 blah. You can't hear over that. It's just impossible. Be quiet and allow yourself to receive. So let's talk about journaling. Journaling is not a diary. It's not, dear diary, I woke up and, I got into my car today, and it's not that. It's really allowing yourself to be vulnerable. No one else is reading your journal. And yes, I journal, and I used to think journaling was stupid until I started doing it and getting results, okay? I have a journal everywhere I go. If you're watching this on YouTube, Like seriously, I have right next to me little journals that go into my purse. This is one from my friend Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly. I have ones that will go into my work bags. I have ones that have, you know, are for different things. So I have one for my company. I have one for just really having therapy sessions, kind of like just dumping things out to release for healing. I have ones for manifestations and things that I desire. I have ones that are just about recording synchronicities. Like, you can start with one, okay? But I'm just saying that's how much I appreciate journaling, and I know the power of it. So when you journal, I think it's important to always go in with an intention. Everything in life I do is intentional. I don't just wing it and figure like how, I wonder what happens. I hope this works out. No, I'm going with intention to get this kind of result. And so I always go with an intention, and I start with like a paragraph, just asking for guidance for my highest and best. And I say, this is what I'm truly looking for support on. And in that, I'm going to surrender to God and to the universe and receive this guidance from my highest self, my inner feminine beast. And in the beginning, you're going to judge the process. You're going to feel like, this is silly, this is stupid, I'm just completely like writing what I think. But if you give yourself permission to write and write and write and get out of your head and come into your body, you're going to realize eventually, and it won't take long if you are open to it, your writing's going to change. It's almost like all of a sudden you get into flow state. Have you ever written an essay where all of a sudden just like your fingers couldn't keep up, just magic started pouring out of you? You read back, you're like, damn, this is some good stuff I came up with. You didn't come up with it. Nothing's created. You aligned with it. And so when you align with your inner feminine beast and you have the intention of asking for help, when you ask, you shall receive. And all of a sudden you can hear her guidance because you're making room to empty the stuff that's filling up your head, getting that onto paper, and then eventually within that process, you now have enough room that you can start hearing her. And you're going to feel a transition, and it almost feels like you're even writing different, like your handwriting's different. And the things that you start writing are not things that you come up with, but things that actually come to you. It's like energy comes to you and through you, and all of a sudden you're going to hear answers. This, ladies, is what I refer to as automatic writing. This is something I love teaching. This is something that I do every single day. This is something that will change your life. Journaling, it's magical. Now, as you know, I truly believe in paying attention to everybody. Everybody in their own mind is right. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's doing the best they can at the conscious level they're at. So I love to study from anyone and everyone. I love to hear your perspective. I love to hear what you're working on. I love to hear people's beliefs and where they're at. And I go in observing, not labeling. I go in loving, not judging. And I hear what resonates with me, like what is my truth. So I study with so many different religions because between all of the different religions, there's a common thread. And that common thread is my spirituality, my personal truth. And so, you know, it's interesting when you look at like ladies who study Wiccan, or I mean, practice and are, you know, there's a lot about spell work, for instance. Spell work is, you know, just understanding that you can control energy and working with the elements of the physical world. And what happens a lot of times is, you know, they will have their book of spells. And what's interesting is it's not a book that's inherited per se. It's more so that you write it on your own, like you have your own pieces, because you're channeling your own divine magic. And what's special about that book is that like it's yours, it's for nobody else. So basically you need to realize that this is ancient practices. These are things that if you want to create your own magic in your life, that you receive and you allow yourself to have a place that you can put your work and watch the progress unfold and allow the magic to pour through. And it's not for somebody to judge or to label. You don't have to be perfect. This is your private book that nobody else is going to see. But wherever the focus goes is where the momentum goes. Are you disciplining yourself to do the actual work? It doesn't have to be hours of writing. It doesn't have to be half hours of writing. It can be 5 minutes. But everything you do matters. Everything adds up. Everything counts. And what's so fun about journaling is that it really is the laboratory of your life. It's how you can track your progress and record, where you were and where you're at now. It's so amazing because I can take myself back there and I can be there in that moment. And I have the books and journals to look at as proof. I remember writing my dreams and writing that someday I will have $100,000 income year. I will be there. And I remember I had my big pregnant belly sitting in my blue Honda Accord, and I was a delivery driver. It's funny. I was a catering specialist for a high-end restaurant, but like Joey always reminds me, no, Cynthia, you were a glorified delivery driver, and he's so right. But, I remember then sitting, oh my gosh, someday, which was now, Derek's 9 years old. So 9 years ago, someday, we made that already in cash this month in my business. You know what I mean? But to remember that when you're hard and you're doubting yourself and you forget what's actually happened because you're in the day to day, you go back and you look at that journal and it's like, whoa, mind blown. There's so many reasons to journal. Again, it's to remind yourself that surrendering needs to take place. Creating organization needs to take place. Making room needs to take place. Receiving guidance. It's not just you that's going to do this. You need to understand you are supported and you need to surrender to that support in order to receive it. That needs to take place. And showing your ego that you can take something from the mental and put it into the physical immediately helps you to hyperspeed time. To convince your ego it doesn't have to take as long as you think it does. So journaling is such a beautiful thing, and I'd love for you to give it a try. Go in with an intention. Oh, no, wait, I said try. I want you to do it. I want you to do it, and I want you to surrender to the process. Not going in with expectations or judging or labeling, but just hold yourself accountable to get into it. And at first, if it feels forced, but of course, that's how you've been doing everything. It's not about learning how to journal. It's about how to remember how to journal. Not doing things forcibly, but learning to embrace the feminine aspects of surrendering and receiving. This will help you to manifest in so many different ways. And I'm excited to hear how it goes for you. Now, if you're excited to learn more about these kind of concepts, if you're interested in learning about how to manifest in different ways, I definitely want to encourage you to come hang out with me inside the Spiritual Success Sorority Facebook group. Definitely invite your friends. And if you're loving this, I want to thank you so much again for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the show and leaving an honest review. It means the world to me. But go do it. Get yourself a journal, and every single day, just open your heart with intention. Allow yourself to release the things that are in your mind, and whatever's weighing heavy on your heart, ask for support and guidance on. Write a little bit. It's going to take you a while to get into that loose feeling, and then eventually just let go. It's going to feel like in the beginning that you're coming up with it, but the more you trust the process, the more you're going to realize, wow, this feels different. All of a sudden, I'm not coming up with the things, they're coming to me. Trust that, and whatever you write, go take aligned action on. You will then get the aligned result. Acknowledge it, embrace it, see it through.
Hey, successful soul. Before you head to the next episode of Spiritual Success, be sure to come join me and other like-minded entrepreneurs and business professionals in my Facebook group called Spiritual Success Sorority. Everyone is welcome. And if you're loving the show, you're going to love the group even more. There, I'll be engaging with you weekly in live shows, listening to your input for new weekly topics, and hosting exclusive workshops for members only. So if you're looking to really up-level your financial and personal success, meet me on over in the Spiritual Success Sorority Facebook group. See you on the inside.